All right, so today I'm here with my good friend Filip. Welcome to the channel.
Good to be here.
Yeah, we do quite a lot of work together.
Yeah, you do mostly front of house and I do the monitors.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a quite unique workflow doing monitors that I've tried to understand, but I have no clue what's going on.
Well, after today, maybe you do.
Yeah, and I will watch back this video later on to understand everything. But you have like a workflow I haven't seen anyone else do.
No, me neither. And it's like bits and pieces from other people talking about monitors or talking about mixing, and from your channel as well,
Really?
gain staging.
Awesome.
Look at gain staging. Yeah, it's really good. Okay, so I have all the faders at Unity, and I gain everything correctly.
Right.
All the plugins get the right amount of gain, so they can work properly. But if you gain everything correctly and you have all the faders at Unity, it doesn't sound like
it never works.
No.
So you have to do something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the secret is my final plugin, the last plugin in the chain, is a volume plugin.
All right.
So in that plugin, I do all the volume changes to complete the mix.
All right.
And then
then still have all the faders at Unity.
Yes.
All right.
Exactly. And I do this for all the channels and all the effects and everything.
Really?
Yes. So everything is at Unity at first, and I can give a mix to all the players.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
All right.
So it's slow at first.
Yeah.
But then it becomes really quick.
Right.
So and we can look at this session. So we have virtual sound check, but we can pretend that it is a sound check.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I can show you how my thought is. Hopefully.
Let's do it.
Okay, so in this session, we've got a drummer, a bass player, 2 guitarists, 1 keyboard player, and 1 lead singer.
Right.
All right, so this is the first layer, and then we got lead. We got 3 backing vocals, so the bass player and the 2 guitarists sing as well.
Sure.
So the way I set up everything is, of course, naming the channels and routing them. And then I have, this is like my template with plugins first.
Right. And are these sent pre or post fader?
Pre-fader.
Pre-fader.
If the artist wants me to mix the show, like all the changes and everything, then I can send that parts post-fader.
Right.
But I start everything with pre-fader to have one basic mix.
Yeah.
And this mix I do first is one overall mix.
Yeah.
And if we see the sends, if we start up with the drums.
Yeah.
Then
so these are the sends for the drummer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for the drummer, he's got himself at Unity.
Yeah.
And all the others at -10.
Right.
And that for the second layer as well. Yeah. And also for the effects. So the effects for the drums, I've got 2 effects for drums.
Yeah.
Is at Unity, and all the others are -10.
And this is before the drummer even shows up to the...
Yes. So this is my starting point.
Yeah.
And then when I do for the bass, it's the same thing. Everything else at -10.
Yeah.
And then the bass player at Unity.
Yeah.
And the same for guitar, keyboard, and lead. And we have that for the effects as well. So the bass, and the bass player has his vocal channel goes to a reverb.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's the reverb 1.
Yeah. And it's that the reverb is just for the bass player's vocal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all the vocalists get their own reverbs.
Sure.
Yes. To have control about everything.
Yeah.
So guitar and guitar. Yeah. So this is the starting point. Yourself at Unity, all the others at -10.
Yeah.
But I'm listening to this final aux.
All right.
And this one is just Unity.
Okay.
So I'm listening to everything like at Unity straight up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first thing I do is go through the whole input list,
Yeah.
gain everything, listen to them if you have to do some tweaks and everything like that. So like starting off, we start up with kick drum.
Yeah.
And then if we play the kick drum,
I will be the drummer, and here you have some kick drum.
perfect. Okay, so the first thing I do is I gain. So now you see that it's correct gain.
Yeah.
And then in the channel view, you can see in my final plugin,
Yeah.
the SSL EQ. And here I tap on that one and I use this touch and turn knob. This is my volume knob for
Right.
the entire mix. And for the kick drum, I leave this at Unity as well.
Yeah.
So I have a starting point.
So that's kind of the baseline for
Yes.
everything else. All
Yes.
right. Yeah.
So this one is straight.
Yeah.
So I go and do some EQ changes and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then I move on to the snare drum.
Coming up. Here we go.
And I have the snare drum. And I listen to that one. I go, and you see here that it's at -24.
Right. So the starting point is -24.
Yes, that's because when I unmute this channel,
Yeah.
it doesn't kill their ears.
Sure.
Because as soon as I unmute something, it starts to play in all the others.
That's
ears.
right, because everyone has. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And the drummer hears it at Unity,
Yeah.
and all the others hear it at -10.
Yeah.
But I hear it at Unity.
Yeah.
So if we start at -24, then we're safe.
Yeah. Right.
And we can start then with the snare drum, snare top, unmute that one, point, and then move it up.
So it lines up with the kick drum.
With the kick drum.
Right.
Yes. So I play the kick drum and snare drum
Yeah.
at the same time. And then we do like this all the way. So we go to snare bottom, and then we have it. Oh, now it sounds really good. Snare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Moving on, we got hi-hat. And the hi-hat is, you know, if you gain the hi-hat correctly, no one wants to hear that at Unity.
Yeah, I know.
No, no.
Definitely not.
So this one is probably around somewhere around here. And then I do this for all the drums.
Drums, and then let's have some overheads as well.
Yep.
Here we go. Yeah.
So the overheads are here, and the toms. Okay, so this is just a quick view of how I do it.
And at this point, both you and the drummer have all the sends at Unity, so you will hear the exact same thing as the drummer.
Yes.
Right.
And then I know if there's something like too loud or too quiet,
Yeah.
we have the same thing.
Yeah. Right.
And these are with no effects so far.
Yeah. All right.
And then when we go through everything, we gain everything correctly. Then the drummer plays a beat.
Yeah.
And all over the place.
Right.
To hear everything is nice. Then moving on, I add some effects
Yeah.
because why not?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. And this I also have done before the sound check.
Yeah.
So if we go to the effects tab, we see that I have a gate reverb
Yeah.
for just a snare.
Yeah.
This is just my starting point. It depends on what it is, but
Yeah.
let's go for it this time. So I have a gate reverb on the snare, and then I have an overall drum reverb on the snare and toms.
Yeah.
And these are all sent at Unity.
Really?
Yes. So everything at Unity,
Yeah. Right.
always Unity.
Yeah.
And then if the drummer plays, and I want to hear more reverb on the drums, so we go to the gate reverb first. Oh, we have a SSL EQ on the last.
Surprising.
Yeah, surprising. So he plays, and I start to turn it up.
Yeah.
Oh, now I like it. And the balance is the same for the drummer as for me.
Right.
And also for all the others, but
Just
minus 10.
10 dB lower.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's the same mix for everyone
Yeah.
at first. And then we're moving on to the drum reverb, and then he plays some toms and snare. Okay, now I really like the drum sound.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's move on to the bass. Okay, so now we have the bass player also. And we gain it up. Everything is good. And then the final plugin, SSL EQ. Now the volume is correct. And now I'm listening to all the drums at Unity and the bass at Unity.
Right.
So it's the bass player has more bass than the drummer,
Right.
because you want to hear yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
But everyone else who's not playing drums or bass,
Yeah. They have a same kind of correct mix.
yeah.
Right.
And when I do one mix, it's the starting point is correct for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're done. We go further with guitars, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Okay, so now all the playing instruments have one mix.
Yep.
It's good. And for vocals, we do the same thing. We gain up everything correctly. We do the volume knob correctly, and then also the effects.
Right.
And for the lead vocalist, we have one reverb, one delay, and one throw in this case.
Yeah.
And for the reverb as well, so we go to the channel and then we blend up. So the vocalist likes the blend between direct sound and the reverb sound.
Right.
And then because everything is at Unity, then if someone wants to turn down the vocals, you can turn down both channels, the reverb and the direct sound, equally.
Right. They just follow each other.
Yes.
Right.
So if you want that balance, someone wants more reverb than direct sound, totally fine.
Yeah.
But this balance is easy.
Yeah.
And we do that for all the vocalists.
Right. And at this point, everyone has a nice mix with their own instrument and vocals 10 dB louder.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is the starting point that I do. I present this mix to everyone with themselves 10 dB at 10 dB on top.
Right.
And this is just what I think.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what I think.
No, then you might have the keyboard player want even more hi-hat actually. And
no worries.
Yeah.
Then you can do that because then you want the keyboard player wants more hi-hat. Absolutely. More hi-hat coming up. Boom.
Right.
It doesn't change my overall mix.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's only affected the keyboard player.
And at that point, you're kind of back to the way everyone else does it. But you have a nice mix for everyone.
Yeah. And it's a great starting point for everyone to they hear themselves more.
Yeah.
And it's a good starting point because everyone gets a mix to play with.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Instead of going one person at a time. Yeah. Doing one mix and then so it takes a bit longer at first because I have to go through everything with one more step because I have to volume change in the channel.
Yeah, and I remember the first few times we did this, I was like, this kind of takes quite a long time. But then all of a sudden, everything was done.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, well, I'm not done.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to take so much more time, but the sound check was over really quickly.
Yeah. And then when you get the hang of it, like it's pretty quick, but it's slower because you have one more step.
Yeah.
It's slower at first, but when everyone has one mix and themselves at the top, it's kind of easy to like present everything for everyone at the same time.
And you're 95% done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they want changes, of course.
Yeah.
But then the changes are not like, oh, I need drums.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Because you have drums.
Yeah.
You
Right.
need perhaps more or less drums.
Yeah.
No problem.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's the like first thing I do. And when all the changes are done, I look at the outputs.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to clip the outputs. You don't want it to be too quiet.
Right.
So then I have a link group.
All right.
For all the channels. So the channels and the effects goes to one link group.
Yeah.
And if the whole mix is too loud, I can just use the link group to pull everything down.
All right.
It doesn't affect the mix, only the volume of the whole mix.
Yeah, right.
But instead of like turning up or turning down the aux,
Yeah.
I can do it so everything is
Right.
correct,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah. So you keep the gain structure all the way to the output.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you and going back to like before starting the sound check,
Yeah.
I make sure that if I clip out from the console,
Yeah.
I clip in the transmitter.
Yeah. Right.
So if the transmitter clips, it clips here as well. So
Right.
I don't have to look at the transmitter anymore
Yeah.
because I know that, okay, I don't want to clip here, then everything is fine over there.
Right.
Okay, and so routing wise, the musicians, they don't listen to the auxes.
All right.
They listen to the matrix.
Do tell.
Yes. Okay, so our matrices, it's like if you don't know what a matrix is like a mixer within the mixer.
Yeah.
So in the channel view of this matrix, this is the drummer, trummor in Swedish. We have the drummer listening to the aux pre-fader.
All right.
And all the others are listening to their aux pre-fader as well.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for this. The reason is that when I switch between mixes,
Yeah.
I don't want one mix to be louder because then it's hard for me to hear the changes.
Right.
If I listen to guitar player 1 and then I want to listen to the drummer, the mix are probably very much very different.
Yeah.
Sound-wise.
Yeah.
But I
But
don't
you
want
want
it
the
to be
same volume.
Yes.
Kind of. Yeah.
the perceived volume,
Right.
at least. So I don't look at the meters, I listen.
Yeah.
Okay, so for instance, if the drummer's mix is louder than someone else's,
Yeah.
I can turn down the aux because I am listening to the aux
Right. And that will not affect the volume of
going to the matrix.
Right.
So the drummer still hear everything. If I turn all the way down, I don't hear anything from the mix,
Yeah.
from the drummer mix.
Right.
But the drummer can hear it.
Yeah.
So I can do my mix of the mixes in this window.
Right.
So maybe it looks a bit like this. And when I go between the mixes, it sounds the same volume for me.
Right.
And then I can do right changes if I hear something like, oh, the guitar is too loud.
Yeah.
then I know it's the guitar that is too loud, and it's not just the whole mix that is too loud.
Right. Yeah.
With guitar
sure.
in it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So this is my workflow. I keep everything at Unity as long as possible.
Yeah.
Until someone wants to change it.
Yeah.
And that is totally fine. They can do whatever they want. They're the only one listening to the mix.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you know how my workflow is, and I hope everything is clear.
Yeah. Super clear for sure.
Perfect. And if not, send me a question. I will answer.
Awesome. And where will people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm not so active on social media, but
Well, you will be after this.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah.
If you send me a question, I will answer.
Yeah. And we will put links up everywhere.
Somewhere.
So, yeah. All right. Great. Thanks for sharing, Filip. And thanks for watching.